Every time you start a new portrait, you have to guess where everything goes. By the end of this lesson, you won't be guessing anymore. You'll know how to build an outline you can actually understand, and then turn it into a finished portrait with shading. Grab your paper and find the exact center point where a horizontal and vertical line would cross. Now place that onto the reference photo. Next, look for the four main horizontal guidelines on the face. Which one is closest to the horizontal line you already drew? The nose base. Take a point right at the base of the nose and connect it to the left and right, following the angle of the nose. That gives you a small inverted triangle. Now, your paper is split into a top half and a bottom half. For the bottom half, draw a line that splits that section evenly. It doesn't matter how you get there, just ensure it is centered. The closest feature to that line is the chin. Take a point there and connect it left and right. Same idea as before, just a slightly bigger triangle. Repeat that for the top half. Split it evenly the same way. And luckily, that line lands right on the brow line. Now, where do the lips go? Simple. Take the distance between those last two lines, split it in half, and that marks the top of the upper lip. Now here's the part that personally used to trip me up, until I fixed it. Face width. This is what lets you place the internal features without the face coming out too wide or too narrow. Take the horizontal boundary line for the face width and compare it to what you've already drawn. You'll notice something. That width is the same distance as the one between the brow line and the tip of that inverted chin triangle. And just like that, you've defined the full height and width of the face, with zero complexity. No curves, no circles, none of the usual stuff that makes outlines feel complicated. A handful of simple concepts applied directly to the drawing, and you've already got the full dimensions of the face. Now we're getting into the stage where people usually lose patience, adding the features. And here's the mindset shift. Don't try to get the shape right yet. That's not what this stage is for. What most people don't realize about the outline is this. It's not responsible for showing the features. It's responsible for sizing and placing them. Once I've defined the width of the eye, for example, I don't need to worry about that size again later, during shading. The outline's whole job is organizing where each feature belongs. So once this stage is done, you'll notice, it won't look like the person yet. That's expected. Here's how to apply it. Start with the shape of the eyebrow, just the angle. Since you already built the boundaries earlier, getting to the end point of the eyebrow takes almost no effort. That naturally leads you into placing the eye correctly. Apply the same logic to the second eyebrow, using what you built at the start. Then rough in the basic eye shape the same way. Moving to the mouth, I compare its width to the width of the nose, and sometimes to the eye, which usually lines up around the middle or the first third of the eye, depending on the angle. But again, don't focus on the look of it yet. Right now, we're just locking in sizes. For the nose, I start with straight lines, then begin breaking them into slight curves, just enough to bring out its natural shape. I add a bit of shading near the corners, based on where the light's hitting, and sharpen the edges around the sharper angles. To finish this stage, I take an eraser and clean up the rough lines and angles, then blend everything slightly with a tissue, lightening the graphite. That's what prepares the drawing for shading. Shading is what actually delivers the final detail and likeness. But the outline is just as important, because without it, shading alone could take you 4 or 5 hours, sometimes even longer depending on how detailed the piece is. An outline that doesn't even take half an hour can save you hours of work later on the full portrait. There's another thing people don't think about. Even if your shading is technically good, it's easy to lose track while you're deep in one area. A feature can end up slightly bigger or wider than it should be without you noticing, and you won't catch it until the very end, only to realize the final result isn't quite what you pictured, even though the rendering itself looks fine. That's exactly why the outline matters as much as it does. For shading, I use a Staedtler black pencil, and I'm not switching pencils for the rest of the video. Not to prove some kind of skill, but to prove a point. One pencil is enough to get every tone you need, as long as you know how to control the pencil itself, no matter its type or hardness. Before you start shading, focus on one thing. Locate your light source on the face. Once you actually understand that, you can produce something that looks 3D instead of flat. That's the real difference between a beginner and a professional in shading. A beginner doesn't understand how they're shading, so the tonal values on the face come out wrong, and the drawing ends up looking inaccurate and unrealistic. Second point, there's no such thing as a hard line in shading. Hard lines belong to the outline stage. Every shaded area needs to blend from the very start. For example, that dark tone on the nose isn't a line. It's a fully shaded mass, blended evenly from its starting boundary to its ending boundary. Once you understand these two things, light source and no hard lines, you can produce a realistic portrait. Notice here, after I located the light source coming from above, on the left side near the eye, I shaded a shadow under the eye and under the nose on the right side. That means the left side generally ends up lighter than the right side, and that's what gives the piece a more cinematic look. Focus on keeping the left side lighter overall, but certain spots, like just under the eye, stay darker. That contrast is what brings out the fine detail. Once those boundaries are in place, I start working from them, pulling the pencil at the same tone throughout the shading. That's the whole idea behind no hard lines. Take the base of the nose, for example. I draw a line there, and you might ask, wait, isn't that a hard edge? But that section blends into the tone below it, so you won't actually see it as a line once it's shaded. Notice this sense of dimension in the nose. What actually makes it pop? Look at the cartilage in the middle. There's a highlight there from the light hitting it directly. So if you leave that spot alone and shade the areas around it at the same tone, working through the gaps you can see, along with shading the side boundaries of the nose and that small highlight in the center, all those tiny details that might seem irrelevant are exactly what create that ideal three-dimensional result. They're what really brings out the detail around that area. Notice when I added the darker section under the nose on the right side. That's what gives the sense that the nose is actually lifting off the page. So don't skip a single detail without trying to match its exact tone. And I want you to drop the idea of time completely while you're drawing. Nobody's timing you, and nobody's judging you. Take all the time you need. Don't get bored. The deeper you go into mastering portraits, the more time it'll take, and the more you'll actually enjoy it, as long as you genuinely want to learn and reach a result you're satisfied with. So get that pressure out of your head completely. After finishing the nose, I moved to the eye. Simple shapes first, basic lines, then I started shading. To confirm the size, I compared it to the width of the nose and found they matched. So I shaded it, went over it a second time, and left the bright highlight untouched in the eye. While shading, try to protect that highlight spot and avoid shading over it, keeping its shape as close to the original as possible. Then, shade underneath the eye. Here's something worth knowing. The more detail a drawing has, the more comfortable it actually becomes to work on. Not in terms of time or effort, you're still putting in real work, but small details, like the ones on the cheek or across the features, give you more information for the next area you're about to shade. For example, once I want to nail the boundaries, I start shading the internal details first. Drawing the eye leads me naturally to the marks and small blemishes on the skin. I follow them step by step, and before I know it, I've reached the boundary almost unconsciously. Personally, I like drawings with a lot of detail because it actually makes it easier for me to reach a professional result without forcing myself to consciously calculate every boundary. That's a point most people won't tell you, but trust me, don't be intimidated by the amount of detail in a face. Shade the areas I mentioned using the same technique, and you'll end up with a portrait better than anything you've made before. Notice how the small marks under the nose were actually what helped me land exactly on the position of the upper lip, which let me get the rest of its proportions without extra effort. The highlight hitting the lower lip is important too. Make sure to match its exact tilt angle, because it affects the overall look of the portrait. To nail the boundary of the chin precisely, I used those same in-between details I mentioned. small marks between the lower lip area, which guided me right to the boundary. And even though those boundaries were already set in the outline stage, it's still important to double-check them here, because it's possible you made a small mistake early on without noticing. And if you just rely fully on the outline without revisiting it during shading, that mistake can carry through to the end. I keep going, one area at a time, following the parts I'm shading until they lead me to the boundaries of the other side of the face. For the left eye, I shaded the marks around it, which led me right to its exact size. Same technique as before. No hard edges, everything blended at one consistent tone within the area you're shading. I worked the eyebrow at the same angle, then shaded under the eye. That's the key area I mentioned earlier, and it's what really brings out the realism in the piece. Notice the small mark, like a faint blemish, running down from the forehead into the eyebrow. I kept building it up until it reached its ideal size. Then I added the strands of hair, trying to match their natural direction to keep the final result consistent. After that, I shaded the forehead. Don't judge the look of your portrait before it's finished. If you catch yourself thinking, "This doesn't feel right," don't stop there. Finish the entire portrait first, then judge the result. For the shirt, I started with simple outline strokes, then went in with a charcoal powder pencil to build up the shading. I used an electric eraser to add small white highlight dots, then went back with a tissue to darken it slightly. Finally, I identified the darkest areas and shaded them in, mainly the right side, as a result of the light source coming from the left. Don't overlook the background, it's part of what makes the portrait work. It also helps with things like the face boundary. You'll notice a thin white line there, which comes from the face separating from the background due to the light hitting it. So when you shade the background, that boundary highlight naturally shows up, and that's part of what makes a portrait feel fully finished. And that's the completed portrait. Try drawing this one yourself and send it to me on Instagram, links in the description. I feature the best ones in future videos. And if this helped you understand shading a little differently, hit like. That's what tells me to keep making breakdowns like this one.